So what we're comparing today is a Bach Megatone 3C and a standard Bach 3C. You can see the difference on the outside, how this one has a lot more mass added to the top, and this one is just the shape one would expect. The cups are actually the same depth. You don't get a super deep cup necessarily with a Megatone mouthpiece. You can get Megatones with F cups, super duper shallow. These are both just standard C cups. Very, very generic. I mean, 3 rims, C cups, probably 27 throats. I think the throats are a notch wider, maybe, on Megatone mouthpieces. I might have read that somewhere a while back, I don't really remember. And I'm sure both of them have number 10 backboards, so very, very similar. The only difference is the added mass and maybe a tiny bit wider throat. I've not really properly played a 3C in a long time. I play just about exclusively on 1.5C now, so you'll have to forgive me for the lack of acclimation. I don't really sound that good on a 3C anymore. But anyways, first on the traditional non-Megatone 3C, here's just an old flow study out of the Arbenz book. Same thing now, but on the Megatone mouthpiece. So the Megatone, the added mass on the Megatone makes it a little bit easier to play. You get slightly firmer slots. So once you hit a note, you sort of tend to stay on the note a little bit better. And I suppose it's a little bit easier to aim for notes. It's not really that big of a difference. I figure I should play something that you guys will recognize from earlier videos. So on the traditional 3C, here's just a phrase out of Charlie A2. Again, same thing, just on a Megatone mouthpiece this time. To my ears, at least, it's not going to come through very well on the phone camera because it's not that big of a difference. But the 3C Megatone resonates just a tad better, I think. It sort of, you get more of that ring that you sort of look for with your trumpet playing. For this next test, I've selected something a little bit more articulation based. So first on the traditional 3C, here's a little bit out of one of the Getchell studies, number 81, I think. Don't quote me on it, I don't have the music out in front of me, it's just up in here, I'm a little rusty on that one. I haven't practiced it in a while. But I mean, aside from the fact that low notes are a lot harder for me personally on a 3C than a 1.5C, it does come out. Let's try the Megatone next. Again, it's really not that big of a difference. The Megatone slots a little bit better than the traditional 3C. That's what's, I guess, to be expected with the added mass. I don't really know if the difference is going to pick up on my phone camera at all. It might sound exactly the same for all I know. I've mentioned slotting differences in this video between the two mouthpieces and how the Megatone sort of fits into the slots a little bit better. That really starts becoming more noticeable up in the higher register, where this feels a lot more slippery to my own ears anyways. When you compare that to the Megatone, you'll notice it's a little bit more secure on this. Now this can actually be detrimental sometimes. If you need to do a lot of shakes in a big band setting, you don't really want that added mass. It actually can make it a little bit harder. It does definitely feel like it locks in more on the Megatone than on the traditional one. It can be easier on the Megatone if we just switch around yet again to slot in some of the really absurdly high notes. Just make the switch for the 15th time in a row. Not too much difference again. I suppose it's only fair to test the low register now, which I'm very bad at, so it won't be a very good test per se. But really what you look for in the lower range is clarity. So that's what we'll mainly be comparing between these two mouthpieces. Clarity's pretty good on any Bach mouthpiece, really. There's no big issues. But I think it's going to be a little bit clearer on the Megatone. A little bit clearer. Like everything else in the video, not a big difference. Unfortunately, the reality with these two is that the price difference is bigger than any of the playability differences. I mean, this can cost something like twice as much as this. You can get this for $50 to $60, and one of these for anywhere between $100 and $120. I got mine for $100. I'm sure they go a lot more expensive depending on how specialized the cup size is and the rim size and whatnot. If you want to get anything other than like a 7C or a 3C with a 27 throat and a 10 backbore, it's going to run you a lot more. Same goes for the traditional mouthpiece though. Bach doesn't really like to customize with their mouthpieces. They mainly prefer to just stick to a couple normal rim sizes and cup depths and all that. But the point is, this is considerably more expensive, and while it is a little bit better, I don't know if I can recommend it to really every player. It's certainly handy if you're sort of focusing on symphonic stuff. It definitely helps to have firmer slots and a little bit fuller of a sound. Really, mouthpieces aren't necessarily the determining factor of your playing, so any little thing really helps. So if you've got $100 to drop on one of these, maybe it's the thing for you. Just remember to always try before you buy. Thanks for watching.